Woodfire flavour you can see and taste. Smoke low and slow or crank up the heat for blistering crunch. From artisan pizzas to smoky Woodfire creations. Add authentic Woodfire flavours to anything you make. Share the flavours of your world with the Ninja Woodfire Outdoor Oven.
This is 7 News, the voice of the New England.
Tonight, the wait continues for candidates hoping for a seat on Tamworth Regional Council. A call to freeze alcohol tax to ease pressure on pubs and patrons.
I'm Daniel Gibson. Later on this news hour, a teenage driver allegedly caught drunk behind the wheel following a police chase. And supermarkets dragged to court accused of ripping us off.
7 News begins now.
Good evening. It is down to the wire for some candidates who are vying for a spot on Tamworth Regional Council. Postal votes are still being counted, but it won't be long until the final 9 councillors are confirmed.
Tamworth Regional Council is set for a major shake-up. At least 3 newcomers are expected, creating a fresh-faced group for the next 4 years.
To have a better, broader diversity of people and groups on there, I think it's bodes well for residents.
Candidates Mark Rodder, Russell Webb, Jeff Budd, Brendan North, Stephen Mears and Ryan Brooke have received the highest number of votes, locking in a spot for both Labor and the Greens.
That's probably got a lot to do with the fact that they were above the line voting. First time for Tamworth is above the line voting, and many people were saying to me they just wanted to get in and get out.
It's clear voters have opted for change, whilst others like Charles Impey, Matt Sharpen, Mark Sutherland, Bede Burke and Judy Coates are fighting for a spot.
I'm feeling a little bit relaxed knowing that whatever happens from here on end is in the laps of the community.
According to the New South Wales Electoral Commission, the return of post votes will come to a close on Friday. By Monday, the beginning of the distribution of preferences will start, meaning the shape of the new council should be known in a few days.
We picked up about 50 odd votes just from the posters alone, so we're hoping that if that continues through each booth, then we'd definitely get one on board on the Labor ticket myself, and hopefully we can squeeze Laura Hughes over the line as well.
And it will be the first time a Greens candidate will be on Tamworth Regional Council. It's clear from the votes that the community is asking for transparency and diversity. Speaking to candidate Charles Impey today, he said other towns and villages like Manila, Barabrai and Bendemeer should be included in all the decisions councils make.
Some people in those smaller communities are telling us they feel like they're being forgotten. I'm not sure why they can't take a council meeting from time to time and go out to the regions and out to the smaller towns and communities.
Well, the price of a schooner could soon come down if a proposal by the Nationals gets enough support. They're joining publicans in calling for a freeze on future tax hikes as the cost of beer soars.
Drinkers aren't saying cheers to the rising price of a tipple.
Yeah, too expensive now. Can't drink.
The alcohol excise is adjusted every 6 months with inflation, most recently going up 1% in August. Now the Nationals want a freeze to save drinkers dollars at the till and regional pubs from going under.
We fear some of these pubs could shut down, and they are the very essence, the very fabric of each of these towns.
The policy has proven popular with locals.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a great idea. Why not?
It's like anyone that drinks beer, yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Publicans are also on board.
When you think of having a beer after work, it might be an apprentice who's 19-year-old and he's paying over $10 for a beer. That's just not sustainable.
However, the Liberals have poured cold water on the plan, wanting to focus on inflation instead.
Well, I always like the idea of, free beer, but unfortunately that might not be the policy slogan that you'll be seeing us going into the election with.
And our final taxation policy has not been determined, and that'll be determined by the National Party and the Liberal Party.
Some have also raised concerns about the health impacts of cheaper alcohol.
I suppose you've got to watch for people who drink too much. You've got to weigh it out both ways, I think.
Regional pubs say something needs to change on pricing.
We pride ourselves on being at the heart of the community of the hotel, and they love nothing more to come down and have a beer after work, after a long day, and they're actually telling us that they just can't afford to do that.
James Carter, 7 News.
Nurses across the state will strike for 24 hours tomorrow in their fight for better pay. James Carter joins us now. James, what does this actually mean for patients?
Nick, patients who have had their surgeries cancelled are being contacted. Local health districts will have life-preserving minimal staffing in place. Health Minister Ryan Park had offered an interim 3% pay increase, back paid to July, in exchange for stopping industrial action. He described that offer as very reasonable, while the parties enter into 4 weeks of talks. Nurses are seeking 15% pay increases to bring their wages in line with other states. So far, we know nurses in Armidale will rally at 11 and 1 p.m. Patients with non-life-threatening conditions are being encouraged to contact Health Direct to avoid wait times in hospitals.
OK, thanks for the update, James. That's James Carter reporting in Tamworth. Rental laws in New South Wales are getting a shake-up as the state faces its toughest market in decades. The government hopes the reforms will balance the interests of both owners and renters.
The rental market in New South Wales is one of the toughest in the country. The state government's pushing ahead with reforms which will prevent renters from paying additional fees.
We've seen incidents or reports of 1.5% on top of the rent that has to be paid just as a transaction cost for a strata manager in New South Wales. We shouldn't have that. There's no reason to have that.
The government also says renting will be easier for pet owners, which has been welcomed by domestic and family violence services. Tamworth Family Support Service says one of the biggest concerns for victim survivors when leaving a dangerous home is being able to find somewhere where their pet is allowed.
They're often trapped because they do have their animals, so these proposed changes could go a long way in supporting women leave domestic violence relationships also.
The reforms bill will also include measures which the state government previously announced. Renters will no longer be charged for background checks when they're applying for a property, and no grounds evictions will be a thing of the past, meaning property owners will now need a reason to end a tenancy for both periodic and fixed-term leases. It has been welcomed, but some are still calling for more to be done.
I think there needs to be some more rebalancing about rental properties. I think they're over the decades become primarily for wealth creation.
The state government's bill will be introduced into the Parliament in October. Hugh Pearson, 7 News.
A window is quickly closing for farmers to protect their crops from feral pigs. The pest population has once again grown in size, with some warning we won't even make a dent in those numbers until the next drought.
Trapped by a net, these feral pigs have been caught up after being drawn in by food. Labelled the pig brig, it's being trialled in Forbes and Dubbo to capture the pests.
We just want to look at what alternatives there are to be able to demonstrate to landholders of other control methods.
Trapping, baiting and shooting methods all called on to control the exploding populations, especially before harvest.
And at this time of the year, they're just knocking down all of your crops as they run through it and they nest in it. So it's a real problem, and it's an expensive problem across the board.
In response, local land services are offering fully funded grain bait treatment for farmers.
At the end of the day, if we can reduce that impact, we'll get more money out of your crop. So the investment at the start will be worth it in the big picture at the end after harvest.
A lot of farmers are spending thousands and thousands of dollars, including ourselves, on aerial shooting and other control mechanisms. But we've got to have better coordination across geographic areas.
The approach of the New South Wales government to managing feral pigs has been appalling. It's been unstrategic, and the level of funding and the timing of the announcements doesn't meet what is required.
In June, the state government announced $13 million to go towards feral pig programs. The Invasive Species Council say they should focus on long-term investments to dent a population estimated to be in the millions.
In 2017 to 2020, we had a drought. Government missed a trick in terms of rolling out effective feral pig control. We are seeing the impacts of that now.
Hamish Southwell, 7 News.
Well, for a look at all of today's weather conditions, Kirsty joins us now. And Kirsty, fairly settled, let me speak my words, fairly settled start to our working week.
That's right, Nick. Hello to you and good evening, everybody. As we can see on our satellite picture, we did have mostly clear and settled skies right across New South Wales today. And with those clear skies, we did wake to a little bit of frost around parts of the northern tablelands. -4 degrees in Glen Innes this morning, a minimum of 2 for both Corindai and for Gunnedah. But temperatures climbed under the influence of a high pressure system, reaching the high 20s in the west with mild northeasterly winds. 28 degrees for Moree today. Murrurundi had that top of 21, slightly cooler but very mild overnight, and 24 degrees in Tenterfield. Now these maximums are likely to increase a little tomorrow before falling later in the week. We do have some wet weather on the forecast, but I'll have more details on what's in store later this week, a little after sport, Nick.
Might be a bit of a wet old day on Thursday.
Yes, looking like it, and temperatures dropping too, a bit of a cool change.
Okay, great, Kirsty. We'll get more weather soon. Thank you. Well, up next in 7 News, parents urge to make sure their kids can swim. And all eyes on the Reserve Bank's next move.
And a little later on this news hour, allegations of misleading discounts land Coles and Woolies in court. An alleged drunk suspended teen driver charged over a police chase. And new polls show Kamala Harris leading Donald Trump. The ex-president makes a call on his political future.
Welcome.
Make perfectly smooth drinks on the go with the Ninja Blast Portable Blender. Whether you're at home or on the move, live life at full blast with Ninja's cordless handheld design. From the kitchen to the gym, at the beach, in the car. Blast through ice and frozen fruit with high-speed blending power. Blend and drink in the same cup. No mess, no fuss. Ninja blending power in your hand. That's life at full blast.
Vaping addiction can creep up on you. And before you know it, it can be hard to resist its pull. Vaping, are you really choosing anymore? Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Army chopper spotted a body down at Thorn Beach.
She's breathing. She's breathing! Look at me. Jude!
Oh my God.
The Crossing. Stream now on 7+.
Lions like to hunt things down, like defenseless young teapots. And when they're on the move, they pay 0 ING international transaction fees with one of these. It's here somewhere. There it is. The ING Orange Everyday Card. Travel and save, Jules. Be the lion.
Nissan e-Power. The hybrid reinvented. Available in the Nissan Qashqai and X-Trail. With X-Trail e-Power from $49,990 drive away.
At Woolworths, enjoy great weekly specials this spring. Like Australian lamb 4-quarter chops, now $14 a kilo. Save $5 a kilo. That's today's fresh food, people.
Welcome back. Australians are nervously waiting for the Reserve Bank's next move on interest rates tomorrow. While there is hope for a drop, experts are tipping there will be no change.
The cash rate's been at 4.35% since June. Tomorrow, the RBA will meet to decide what will happen next. Some predict it will remain as it is.
Look, I think the global implications probably looking at possibly sort of a hold.
Recently, the United States Federal Reserve cut interest rates by 0.5 percentage point. There is pressure on the RBA to follow suit, but Mr. Sweeney doesn't think that will be the case.
And we'll just get a bit more timing and a bit more clarity around some of those issues. They include, obviously, international elections at various different places.
Real estate agents say the tide could be turning for home buyers and people looking to break into the market for the first time if rates stay on hold.
I think people who have been holding off maybe to buy their next home, maybe their dream home, they've just been hanging out waiting for interest rates to come back. I think they'll give them an opportunity to maybe, jump up in the market.
But Mr. Spoke says it could also have unintended impacts on the housing market.
At the same time, it could have a, increase in property prices. So I think people that are, looking at getting in now may be a good time prior to that happening.
Hugh Pearson, 7 News.
Well, new data reveals 40% of drownings last year involved children who were just 1 year old. Now, Kids Alive is urging every parent to take up their free swim program, with experts saying education is the best way to prevent a death.
As temperatures rise heading into summer months, sadly, so do drownings.
Last year we lost 15 little kids under the age of 5. 40% of those drowned in backyard swimming pools.
Kids Alive's Swim into Summer program runs statewide, allowing swim schools to offer free lessons and water safety events for families with children under 5.
If kids are having swimming lessons, they're less likely to wander into life-threatening situations.
The program also provides 5 free online lessons using video tutorials to cover the basics of learning to swim, like water familiarisation, breath control, submersion and floating.
That way they learn respect for the water and they're less likely to wander into life-threatening situations.
Program starts today with more information about participating swim schools available on the Kids Alive website.
Supervision and swimming lessons are the most important thing that parents and grandparents can do for their kids.
Sophie McManus, 7 News.
A safe drinking program that began in Albury is about to make its way to schools right across our state. The Pause Play program aims to educate those who are under the age of 18 about proper behaviour in licensed venues before they enter the clubbing scene. The program covers a wide range of topics, from avoiding confrontation to recognising the dangers of drink spiking.
It's like the old count to 10 before you do anything, and then think it through and think of the consequences, what could happen. And look, to us, if we can stop one kid getting king hit on the dance floor or one assault with a food, then we're happy.
The New South Wales Government will begin rolling out the program this month. Seniors looking for new ways to make friends are being encouraged to apply for a new grant. Those looking to start an ongoing activity like a gardening club or an exercise class can apply for funding to help reduce social isolation and get a group together. The New South Wales Government Connecting Seniors program also has a focus on intergenerational projects where young people get involved and share their experiences with older people. Well, up next in sport, Josh McCulloch secures his next opponent and the grand finale for Tamworth Hockey's 2024 season.
Tomorrow on Sunrise, the Brownlow Medal Unfiltered. We're behind the scenes with the footy and the fashion.
Plus, be watching to win your next overseas holiday, and we'll throw in 200,000 Qantas points for each lucky winner. See you in the morning.
Months of competition have come down to just one match as two heavyweights collide for the Tamworth Hockey Premiership. But only one team can triumph in a 3-0 scoreline.
The Olympians and the Flames put on a united front, but they had a grand final to play. And minutes in, the Olympians came within inches of scoring. It would rattle the post and their opponent. They made sure of things on their second crack. The Flames found themselves in trouble again minutes later. Caitlin Lowe one-on-one, managing to keep a cool head. her double giving them a 2-0 lead after the quarter. The Olympians centre forward starred in the first 20, but it was the goalkeepers in the next. Big efforts at both ends meant the scoreboard didn't change. In the third, Olympians delivered another blow. Kendra Fitzpatrick getting her name on the score sheet. Their 3-0 lead enough to get them the win.
Yeah, we were playing catch up for most of that game and we just couldn't get there. So lots of opportunities, but yeah, couldn't make them count.
I think we came out really hard wanting the win and we got there in the end, which was fantastic.
Yeah, we definitely held our composure through all 4 quarters and worked really hard.
After everything was said and done, there was nothing left to do but celebrate. Max Gent, 7 News.
And Souths United took on the Kiwis in the men's final. Souths took home the victory 4-1, with centre forward Nicholas O'Connor securing a hat-trick. Hundreds came out for the match, many sticking around to watch them lift the shield at sunset. Canada's Harry Wilson and the Wallabies have travelled to Wellington ahead of the second Bledisloe Cup test against New Zealand this weekend. The former Red Devil Junior captained his nation on Saturday as Australia fell to the All Blacks in Sydney 28-31.
We're really proud of the way we worked back into the game and we, put ourselves in a position where we could have won it there at the end. So we took the positive from that, but in saying that, we just lost to the Kiwis, so we'll be realistic.
Wilson is expected to lead the team for the rest of the spring tour. That's despite falling out of favour under former coach Eddie Jones. Well, after a turbulent 2 weeks, Tamworth's Josh McCulloch has finally locked in an opponent for his next bout on October 26. The Muay Thai veteran was originally fighting for a WBC Australian title, but his opponent pulled out just hours after the fight was announced. His promoter spent last week scrambling to find a replacement, but the fight will no longer be for the vacant national title. Up next in 7 News, Kirsty's back and she has your week ahead in local weather.
Reimagine outdoor cooking with the Ninja Woodfire Outdoor Oven. Unlock high heat woodfire flavour you can see and taste. Share the flavours of your world with the Ninja Woodfire Outdoor Oven.
Vaping addiction can creep up on you, and it can be hard to resist its pull. Vaping, are you really choosing anymore? Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Did you just get pig fat on my suit?
Hey, don't worry, you guys. They are much more afraid of us than we are of them.
God, that is not even remotely true.
I have
loved you ever since I've known you, Joe. I couldn't help it.
Just because my dreams are different than yours doesn't mean they're unimportant.
Sometimes we have to ask for help, and that's okay.
You're in grave danger. Get out of there now!
Guys? Stay down! In my sights.
Stop paying. Start watching 7+.
Take it up.
New Lynx Fine Fragrance Collection. Out now.
Impress.
Nissan e-Power. The hybrid reinvented. Available in the Nissan Qashqai and X-Trail. With X-Trail e-Power from $49,990 drive away.
Are you
Ready to devour the taste of California? Well, for a limited time, grab a delicious loaded California classic packed full of flavour and stacked with our legendary waffle fries, combined with medium natural cut fries and a refreshing medium soft drink with free refills in restaurant, all for only $9.95, only at Carl's Jr.
Welcome back, everyone. The main weather feature this week is a large band of rain moving across western parts of the country, which will extend towards the east tomorrow afternoon. At the same time, a cold front is also heading east, which will drag moisture into the state on Wednesday and Thursday, also causing temperatures to drop. Now, widespread rainfall is forecast not only right across the country, but across the state, becoming heavier through our central and eastern districts. Around 40 to 45 millimetres could fall this week across parts of the New England and the northwest. Around the region tomorrow, though, before that wet weather hits later in the week, we're expecting another warm day with warm and breezy northerly winds at 27 for Corindai and Tamworth. That's 5 degrees above our September average. Partly cloudy conditions throughout the day. Armidale reaching 24. Still a bit of a chilly start with 2 degrees, and in Inverell 26 degrees. As we head into Wednesday, mild, settled and quite hot temperatures. In fact, 32 on the way for Walgett, Narrabri reaching 28 with mostly sunny skies and 23 degrees in Armidale. We are expecting windy conditions though, 35 km/h winds. Those winds remaining warm before a cool change into the evening. Inverell 25 and Murrurundi 28 degrees. But if we take a look at Thursday, as we can see with our temperatures, they'll drop by about 7 to 8 degrees across the region. As that frontal system arrives, we're expecting just 20 degrees in Tamworth, in Corindai and for Scone. Cooler as well across parts of the northern tablelands. The Barrington Tops at just a 10-degree maximum. Plenty of rainfall is forecast right across the day with that cool wind blowing. If we take a look now to the next 7 days, showers are forecast to persist into Friday and the upcoming weekend with some scattered rainfall. We're certainly bracing for quite a change in our conditions. 27 on the way for Wednesday, cloudy, a big drop down to 21 on Thursday with that rainfall arriving, Nick.
Yeah, that is a big drop, Kirsty. You have to batten down the hatches.
Yeah, we may a little.
Thank you. Well, before we go, a quick look at fuel prices now around the region. The best price for unleaded in Tamworth is $1.77 at Mobil and Transwest CBD. Transwest is also offering the cheapest diesel at $1.77 along with United on Gunnaganoo Road. Beatty Street Servo in Armidale has unleaded for $1.79 and diesel is $1.82. At Gunnedah, Shell has unleaded for $1.73 and diesel is $1.71 a litre. And at Inverell, Lowe's and Medco have unleaded for $1.73 a litre and diesel for $1.77. And that is your local news for tonight. I'm Nick Hose. Thanks for your company. In just a moment, Dan's got your latest national and international news. Enjoy the rest of your Monday night. Kirsty and I will see you tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. See you then.